All right, hello guys. Of course, yeah, we'll have a good team/family dinner at my house. Yeah, practice, the usual. Yeah, I mean everybody that that doesn't have family or town, they're all invited.
Do you find some of these international guys that we have to explain? I don't know if you did exactly explain what Thanksgiving exactly
I mean,
is.
for sure. I mean, you explain to them all the holidays and ask them about their holidays. I mean, every country's got their own little traditions, and I think it's cool, to learn about, and for our guys on the team to learn about.
What were you most impressed with the two wins in Vegas?
That the guys competed, and their great experience playing, two high-level games and a quick turnaround where, lots of situations come up. And, basketball is a imperfect game, a game of mistakes, and, and situations happen, so you get exposed to different things, and there's nothing better than learning from your own experiences.
How different have the practices been since then, since you have this material to work with?
They haven't been different at all because we haven't practiced. No. We took a couple days off because we had to, just based on our schedule, how things stacked up. So we took Monday and Tuesday off, and I dug into the film and things of that nature, and we'll practice here this afternoon, and we got a lot of things to work on for sure.
Did you learn anything about your team that you didn't already know?
I mean, until you get under the bright lights, in the moment, you think but you don't. And, I was pretty comfortable that we were going to be tough and we would compete. I thought we could play pretty hard with a lot of energy, and to see the guys do that in the moment when things aren't always going perfect was really reassuring.
When you have a game like Wichita State where you lead for most of the game and then they battle back, how much does that help your team moving forward being in those situations?
Well, it helps your team if you learn from it, and so we're definitely going to address some of the things that happened there, and there's some, I guess, imperfect situations. You have some wide open shots, you miss them, but that's going to happen. You can't expect to make every shot. So it's not like we played terrible. We made a few mistakes, missed a few shots, and had a couple breakdowns. And when you do those types of things in a short amount of time, teams can come back, and that's what happened.
Other things that jumped out at you from the film review or whatever that you'd like to work on this week?
Well, I think we're always, I think we got to, kind of deepen our understanding of how we want to read and make decisions, in the flow of the game. I think we have to improve upon our fundamentals, some of our footwork, our passing, things of that nature. And defensively, I thought we were pretty good for the most part. I think we got to, like all teams, have that sense of urgency to finish possessions. We can't have guys leaking out in transition. We want to run, but I don't think we have to cheat to run. I think we can rebound five guys, then run. We run hard enough and are committed enough to it. The opportunities will still be there.
What do you do with a week like this when you do have 3 full days before you play them again? Even with those days off, is it all about you? I mean, as far as those things, or do you guys?
You make a push to get better and to tighten things up, and maybe add a thing or two. So that's going to be the focus, these first couple of days, and of course we know we got Sacramento State coming up this weekend, and we'll make sure we're prepared for them and mixing in some things that will probably directly impact Saturday's game.
Challenging as a coach when on the outside anyway, there's all this talk about how great you guys were, you're ranked now, that blah, 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 you know what I mean, hype, etc.
It's not challenging for me because I don't pay attention to any of it. So, I've been locked in and hanging out at my house, watching games on TV, watching us on film, getting ready to move forward. And we'll definitely talk about that as a team, and I already have. It's a dangerous path to go down where you start reading your own press clippings.
Right. I was wondering if you've had, and again, at Gonzaga maybe too, in this situation where guys, not you guys as much as your players, you have to worry about that with at least certain guys who may not be.
I'll find out in practice at 3:30. I'll see who comes ready to practice today, and we're going to get after it. We're not on easy street. There's a lot of things we got to get better at, and those things are going to be addressed and emphasized for sure.
Do you think this team is a better three-point shooting team than it's shown so far?
I hope so. You know, I to be honest with you, I don't. I haven't even looked at the stats. I know that might sound crazy. I'm going off feel, and maybe I look a little bit sometimes, check in on the overall percentages here and there. I think I got a pretty good understanding, you know, for how good a shooters guys are just by watching and you know, being with them every day. I thought we had some good looks, you know, that you know, maybe didn't go down, and I don't even know what a 3-point shooting percentage is. I mean, I'm most worried about, you know, efficiency and things of that nature, and you know, in shooting threes. I mean, you know, yeah. I mean, you see a team, they might not shoot threes, so you think you're not going to guard somebody. Try it. I mean, that would be my deal, because we're coming at you full force. It's pretty hard not to guard somebody when they're coming right down your throat. So, you know, that's the way I look at it. And I think the 3-point numbers always work themselves out over the course of a season.
How do you handle there's been a couple games with a little time where there's kind of, feels like the settling. You've mentioned it yourself that rather than just go through the flow, it's just, oh, there's a free opportunity, let's take it, rather than move the ball around. How do you coach that out of there? Or is that something that the players are just...
Well, I mean, I've been coaching for 22 years, and if I had an answer for that, you know, I would share it, and I wouldn't be coaching anymore, and I'd own an island in Fiji or something, because, I mean, it's just the game. I mean, I couldn't tell you why there's certain lulls. I mean, it could be 27 different things. You know, it could be foul trouble, it could be fatigue, it could be guys settling, maybe a guy gets selfish for a possession or two. I mean, all those things kind of creep in, you know, at sometimes inopportune times, and you just try to make sure your team has an awareness and, you know, and a context of how the game is playing out to try to avoid them. But, you know, when you play a team like Wichita State that plays as hard as they do, when you get up, I mean, you know a run's coming. And because, you know, what they do when they're behind, they start playing harder. They start taking more risk. And maybe by nature you're trying to protect your lead. And so, you know, it creates a kind of a unique vortex where they can make these runs back at you. And I was really proud. I thought our guys withstood the first run, and I think we got back up 7 or 8, which I thought was a great response. And then, you know, I just didn't think we handled the last couple minutes of the game very well, you know, just from a fundamental and kind of understanding how to win standpoint.
What was your assessment defensively, the Michigan game? What were some of the keys?
With keys where we had a great plan and our guys executed it. I mean, that was the key. I mean, you know, Ricardo had been kind of watching those guys all year and had a plan, and, you know, he shared it with me and talked me into it, and then we kind of made a few tweaks to it, and then the guys executed it. So I was really proud of that. I think our guys have done a sneaky good job game to game of adjusting defensively and offensively to how teams are playing us. And you need to get all these reps under your belt playing these different styles, and then hopefully, you know, you create a little bit of a database that you can pull from throughout the year.
We're going to talk to Pella here in a little bit. It sounds like, what have you made of his start, and do you think, you know, maybe the slowness hasn't been from not being able to practice during the fall?
Well, I mean, you know, and another thing of being part of a good team, not everybody's going to play good at every moment. I mean, it's just how it is. And Pella, you know, is a really good player. We all know that. And he's kind of been put in a tough situation, bouncing back from an injury and literally just kind of easing himself into practice as the game started. So I think he's been great defensively. I love his energy. I love his toughness. I know he's going to be great for us offensively. And if waiting for Pelle Larsson to come along is my biggest problem, then I don't got many problems. And he's going to come along, and I would expect it sooner rather than later. And, you know, he and we'll sit down this afternoon and watch some film together, and he's been great, and I love having him here. And you know, one of the cool things about this, when you get, you know, in my position, is you have a real understanding that struggle is part of the process. And so he's going through struggle right now, but, you know, from some of these breakdowns comes the opportunity for a breakthrough, and his breakthrough is going to happen soon. I'm sure of that.
Did he come out of the weekend banged up still, or did he get over? I mean, it seemed like that first game he really got it.
I tell our guys I don't want to know. You know what I mean? I mean, of course, if you're playing the way we play, you're going to have some bumps and bruises. But I don't want to see guys wincing in pain, this and that. And Justin, our trainer's amazing. And if there's a real issue, he'll tell me. Other than that, I don't need to know. You know, I mean, and hey, and Justin will tell me if a guy needs to rest. You know, and so all that stuff's great. I just tell our guys when we hit the court, you know, we don't wince, we don't flinch.
Well, I'm thinking of when Umar came down on, it looked like he came down on his knee.
Yeah.
But did you see that, or did you watch
I
the
mean, I
replay?
watched it obviously after.
Does that make you wince? Just
Well,
watching
for
it?
sure. I mean, yeah, that makes me wince. I mean, but that's one of those crazy, you know, random situations, you know. And he didn't say a word to me, and I didn't notice it in his movements or anything. So, you know, that one thing I'll tell you about Pella, he's tough as nails. And I mean, some of those vertical contests he's doing down there. I mean, he's putting his body on the line, going up, not worried if he gets dunked on, and he's putting guys on his chest, which is pretty impressive.
Well, do you think some of it with him is he trying too hard, maybe to force things, or just maybe overly physical because he's?
Are you talking offensively or defensively?
Well, maybe on a little bit on both
I mean,
sides.
I think he's a guy that plays his ass off, and he throws his body around, which is admirable. You know, then offensively, yeah, I mean, I think he's, you know, kind of finding his way a little bit, and he wants to get going, and it's not out of selfishness, it's out of he wants to contribute. I mean, that's all it's out of. So, you know, that stuff will work itself out real short time.
Tommy, getting ready for Sacramento State. Can you give us a preview?
To be honest with you, I don't know much. You know, the last couple of days I've been 100% focused on us. I mean, we're just starting to, you know, obviously our assistants are working on a scout right now for Sacramento State, and I was literally just printing stuff out and downloading files on my computer before I came down here, and tonight I'll start to take a look. But the main focus of the next couple of days of practice is going to be, you know, not so much game planning, but 100% us.
Is there, you know, you always have these schedules where you come off a super high profile game, big win, and then maybe play a team that's kind of in that mid to lower range. I mean, how do you approach it as a coach? And, you know, I mean, it seems like, except for these lulls we've talked a little about, for the most part, you guys haven't played down to the level of anybody yet. I didn't know, you know, does that concern you going into these games coming up?
I mean, I think it's easy, Bruce. I think at the start of the year we didn't know our level, and now we're learning what our level is. And to me, it's not about the opponent; it's about our standards of execution, effort, intelligence, decision making. To me, those are the things that I'm looking for. And you know, I know Sacramento State had a good win last night. They beat a UC Davis team that beat Utah State, you know, who's had some good wins. So, you know, I mean, that they're going to be a formidable opponent, and we're going to prepare as such.
Is this what you were expecting or hoping for from Umar in terms of the minutes and the production and the volume that he's able to do while he's out there?
I mean, I'm really proud of Umar. It hasn't been an easy journey. And, you know, some of these kids, you know, you get highly touted, and then you get there, and it doesn't come easy. It's not as easy as they thought it was going to be. And Umar's a extremely high character person who weathered a tough storm, and he's coming out on the other side. We still got work to do, but I'm proud of him. And to me, guys, and I was telling Nate this earlier, I think those are the stories you guys got to do. You got to talk about our guys. I mean, do the personal stories on them. I mean, me up here doing coach speak at a press conference, I don't know if that's very exciting for anybody, but like, learn what Umar's story is. Learn about him as a kid. It's an amazing story, and so I'm privy to a lot more than you guys will probably ever know. But a lot of our guys have these really cool stories, you know, that I think the fans and the fan base would love to know about. You know, that's just my hot take for the day.
You've said a couple times about his body changing. What in particular is different?
He's just gotten in better shape. You know, his muscle mass is up, his body fat's down. He's working hard. He's eating better, and you know he's committed to it. And you know those are conversations he and I had numerous times. And you know, sometimes the first time, the fourth time, the seventh time, it doesn't click. But sometimes you just got to hang with it. You got to be persistent. And it clicked. And then, you know, Umar gets a ton of credit for it. And, you know, as does, you know, Chris Rounds and, you know, and Justin, that they've done a great job helping him take the next steps.
Was it you who found him when you were up at Gonzaga?
Yeah.
Where did Did you see him first?
He was, I think he had a really good under-16 African championship tournament, and then was playing at an academy in Canary Islands.
Was
Where?
it,
Canary Islands.
Okay.
was it tough for him too, because he had so much success early? I think even at 14, he was a FIBA guy, blowing people away because of his size probably at that point. And then to make the adjustment now where
Yeah, I mean,
maybe he's at
I think that when you get some of these big boned guys, the big guys like him, like all of us, our metabolisms slow down, right? And sometimes theirs do a little earlier, than most people. So you put on weight, you get out of shape, you have an injury, and these things kind of add up, and then you know what? It's not coming as easy as you'd hoped for, or you thought it was going to be, because Umar had no idea how hard it's going to be, and so. I'm really proud of him for sticking with it. We got a ways to go, but we're on the path.
Yeah, 'cause like when you saw him, do you remember that U16 when you saw him? Like, was he a big dude already at that point? Or?
He was big, but he was probably in decent shape. But there's a reason I recruited him hard, because I thought he was really talented, really good player with really high character. So I mean, now I'm happy that. He's getting some of the results that I would have hoped he of, because he deserves them. But we just got to stay on it.
Thanks, Ben.
All right, guys. Have a good holiday. We'll see you Saturday, I guess.
Pelle, if I could start with a tough one, did you, was last year Utah your first Thanksgiving, and what did you think of it?
Yeah, it was my first Thanksgiving, but because of COVID, I couldn't really celebrate it. So I guess this will be my first real one.
You guys eating alone in your rooms or apartments or something?
Yeah, we were.
What did you guys do that day?
Yeah, we were kind of isolated, so we just had like catered some food, and then unfortunately you had to go to your room and eat. So.
So are you one of the players planning to go to Coach Lloyd's house to celebrate with him?
Yeah, for sure. Sounds like a nice little get together.
Have you ever had a game where you've been smacked around as much as it seemed like you were against Wichita?
Well, I was smacked around a lot by my own teammates, so that was probably a first. But I mean, that's what's gonna happen when you try to play hard and try to win. So.
Did you see that one when Umar fell on you? I mean, did you see him coming down on you? What was that like?
No, I mean, I saw the from the film after the game, but during the game I just I got hit, fell down, and knocked him over, and then next thing I knew, 260-pound Umar was on my leg, so it happened kind of fast, but it wasn't nothing too serious.
And the deal with Kerr, looked like they had to wipe some blood away, or did you hit him, in the shoulder? Or?
I kind of dove for the ball, and then I think he did the same thing, and I think his shoulder kind of hit me or something. But I mean, it was that hit wasn't as big as it seemed either, so I was fine after that.
How would you grade or assess your play so far in these first few games?
I would say, I mean, it's always tough to get your groove back and your feel for the game after an injury, and I think it's kind of that's been the biggest problem for me so far. So I'm not happy what I'm doing offensively, but I'm happy what I'm doing effort-wise, and trying to play hard. And I've just been trying to focus on doing everything I can to win. And maybe sometimes the ball doesn't go in, so you gotta focus on other things.
Like taking charges, things to that effect?
Yeah, taking charges, just playing team defense, moving the ball when it has to, and boxing out a guy, just simple stuff.
We've seen it, and Tom was talking about just your toughness too, and we were talking about you getting banged up. Did you ever play hockey as a kid or anything? Where did this come from?
No, never played hockey. I think, basketball is a pretty physical sport, I think, and if you put the effort in and you play against other guys that have the same effort, I think a lot of bodies are gonna get banged up.
Or did it help too? I mean, I think, this summer you were playing with the national team in Sweden. I mean, those kind of experiences, you're playing against older guys who probably are tough too as well. I mean, that kind of helped. Get used to that at least.
Yeah, I mean, any experience is like a good learning process, and playing as older guys that are bigger bodies and oftentimes smarter is a challenge. But they taught me a lot of stuff, just different like small tricks and how to use your body the right way.
Where do you think, I mean, do you think that the foot injury set you back, or how much do you think it did as far as not being able to practice, and then boom, the season starts and you're playing, and do you feel like are you back to where you'd like to be, or do you still feel like you're catching up in some ways?
I don't feel like I'm just 100% yet, but we've been taking it really careful and going slow. So I was kind of expecting not to, feel like the best version of myself right away. But I think those couple of months that I missed in the preseason are, some really important months for just practicing and getting your fundamentals down within the system. But it's a long season. I have a lot of time to catch up, so I'm not worried.
Coach said you guys have done a good job just adapting to each different team's playing style and adjusting defensively. So from like Wichita to Michigan and that day off, how did you guys kind of prep to face Michigan?
Watching film, teams that have played Michigan earlier and beat them or given them problems. So watching a lot of that stuff, and then just getting into practice in that off day and trying to execute on those things and put ourselves in game-like situations to kind of get a feel for how the game was going to look like. And, Coach Ricky, I mean, his game plan was incredible, and all the coaches that was a part of it, it was just, they made it kind of easy for us to execute, and it was a fun game.
You just the impression, or how impressive do you think that stretch was against Wichita State and Michigan, just being able to win 2 games like that? What does it say about you guys as a team?
I mean, I think I did, and a lot of our guys went into that tournament, expecting to win games. So I don't think we were very surprised, if I would say so, but it was definitely good to know that we are as good as we think we are, and we can feel like we can beat any team if we play with effort and intelligence. So
How's the mood coming now? Now you've had that big, huge experience, and then coming back at a couple days off, but now practice and a home game. I mean, is it a challenge to kind of keep on that same level where or do you guys feel pretty refreshed and ready to go at this point?
I think we've had a couple of days off now, so I think body's starting to get back to normal. We feel pretty good, but I mean, we did really good in the tournament, but I mean, that's behind us now, kind of, and we're trying to focus on what's in front. So next game Saturday, and then from there it's just new opponent every week. So
you said you didn't play hockey. I was just curious. Do you always play basketball since you were a little kid? You playing other sports growing up? Or?
I think I tried most things. Just my parents just wanted me to do everything, so I didn't feel like I was, had any regrets or was missing out or something. But I mean, soccer, obviously. I ran track a lot, and then did some jiu-jitsu when I was very little. But I mean, basketball was always number 1 for me.
Anything else for Pelle? All right, thank you.
Thanks, Thanks.